Good morning, Chippewa Hills High School students and parents of French 1B. I'm Mrs. Kremsreiter, and I wanted to do two things with this video. Purpose number one of this video is to test run that you are able to watch YouTube videos and that I'm able to distribute them to you. Purpose number two is to go over the continuity of learning plan for French 1B specifically. I have emailed this out to you right before I upload this video. I will do that. And so the first thing that you want to know about the class is what your student will need to have at home to complete it. So ideally, I asked all of the students to take home their textbooks and their workbooks before they left on March 13th. So hopefully they have those things at home right now. So they need their French textbook and their French workbook. I do believe that I gave you a home survey that I asked the students to do in Google Classroom the week of April 6th. And I also sent it in Remind on April 15th. If the student responded that they didn't have their textbook or their workbook, I have shared the results of that with Mrs. Newman. I don't know if that means that they will get delivered to you or not, but it is certainly something to call the high school office about and see if you need your student's textbook or workbook, if it might be possible for you to get it. So again, it's really important that you take that survey if at all possible. Again, it was called the French Home Survey. It was a Google form survey. Again, it's in Google Classroom. Your student should be able to scroll back in Classroom and find it. So again, your student should be able to find this survey in Google Classroom. You also should be able to find it in the Remind stream. If you're having problems finding it and need to take it, if your student contacts me via email, I can make sure to send it to them again specifically. The next thing is about expectations. So again, here you see the part of the learning plan that you're going to get. I would like students to check Google Classroom daily during the week. When we get to the learning schedule, you'll see that I have very brief assignments that will be done daily for my class. I truly don't expect that it'll take the student more than about 30 minutes total to watch any video that I've made and also to do the homework. So please ask your students to check things daily. I'd like them to complete the assignments, and they can use the key that will be provided to check their work. Again, two kind of spots where they'll find that key. The easiest spot they'll find that key in Google Classroom is for the assignment. There will be a key attached to that assignment. The other spot they'll be able to find the key is in the continuity of learning plan that we're going to look at towards the end of the video. You'll see that there's also a link to the keys there as well. Again, I would like them to be working on their homework daily and then to submit it in Google Classroom. So I will create assignments. My plan is to kind of try to work a week at a time. So I'll try to, over the weekend, post the assignments for the following week. And hopefully, ideally, have YouTube videos ready as well for those assignments and that material covered. Sorry about that. Hold on one moment. I apologize for that interruption. In terms of homework, again, I would like the students to be working on their homework daily. Typically, it should be 10 or 15 minutes worth of homework at the most. Again, when they finish it, they can submit it for Google Classroom. Probably the easiest way to submit homework for Google Classroom is going to be to type up the homework in Google Docs. That way, the student doesn't have to worry about uploading a photo. However, if they prefer to handwrite it, that's fine. They could use their cell phone to snap a picture of that, and then they should be able to turn it in for the assignment. Quite a few students have been doing that already. So students are welcome to work ahead. Like I said, though, I only plan to put the assignments up for like a week at a time. So if they work way ahead, they may have to wait a little bit to turn in their assignments. The listening activities, you'll see here that those are going to be optional. Okay. However, I would really like the students to complete them. Again, that's going to be part of what I'm going to do on YouTube. My plan is, and we're going to test it at the end of this video, my plan is to play that on a stereo system I have in my basement, and I will record it like this with the activity and do the listening activities and go over the answers. So I'm hoping that that works. It's not ideal, but it was the best that I could come up with, and we'll see how it works today. Again, those YouTube videos for each lesson, they're not required because the textbook really does do a good job of explaining things. It introduces things the same way that I do so in class. So if for some reason you are unable to access YouTube videos very easily, certainly your student does not have to use them. And the best way to kind of know where your student is with the progression of the class is to check Skyward and to make sure that grades look accurate in Skyward. Next, we move on to how to contact me and office hours and such. So again, part of the continuity of learning plan from the district is that teachers have to have office hours. My office hours will be from 10 a.m. until noon, Mondays through Fridays. So again, means that I will be sitting at a computer and immediately able to respond to emails or reminds. I access and look at my remind on my computer as opposed to on my phone. So I will have both of those things up. Also, it's a great time if students want to ask a quick question or a simple question on Google Classroom. They can find what it is they want to ask about and make a comment, and I will respond to those as well. The nice thing about it being in Google Classroom is that all of the students would be able to see it. So if it's a question that they think they have and others might have, that might be a good spot to do that. I have used Google Zoom and Google Meet for some meetings among the teachers thus far. If there's some interest in a student needing to or wanting to talk with me in that format, that's definitely a possibility. Again, probably the very best way to contact me is going to be through email. And again, there's my email right there. So that's going to be the best. I do check my email often. My husband goes to work at 6 in the morning or gets up at 6 in the morning, so I typically get up with him. So typically somewhere between 6 and 7 in the morning, I will be starting to check email regularly, and I typically do so until about 7 o'clock at night. Once we get to that time of the evening, it's typically time that I kind of try to start to shut down from my workday. So again, I typically am available if you need me. So if you want to contact me, that would be fine. All right. I did set up Remind. Again, I put this in Google Classroom the other day asking the students to sign up. Parents also can sign up for Remind. So if you're a little nervous about whether or not your child is doing what they're supposed to, Again, Remind would be a good way to do that. I'm also hoping that Remind's going to work for our students who are using Packet. So if that happens to be one of your students or child's friends, perhaps they could help them see if they can get signed up for Remind, because I'm hoping that I can post the links for the YouTube videos I create in Remind. Again, there are several different ways, depending upon what type of device you have, to kind of get signed up. If you're using a smartphone, the directions are right here. If you're using a mobile phone that's not a smartphone, again, your directions are right here. And it's even available to people who are using a desktop computer. It's right here. I'm not sure if that would work for a Chromebook or not. But I do know that they provide all of those. I also am hoping that Remind might provide a way for students to text me their homework. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for the students who are on Packets. I'd really prefer that just be for students who are using Packets. My preference for all work being turned in is through Google Classroom, if at all possible. It's simply much, much easier for me to track what is there and what hasn't. What is there, and to keep track of what's been turned in more easily. So that is a Remind. Again, the plan is, or it's to provide a way to communicate with me. So I'm hoping that that works pretty well. Next is about the YouTube channel. My son was pretty amused by helping me make my YouTube channel public. I'm not super crazy about the fact that all kinds of people can go and listen to these videos and listen to me talk, but it is what it is. So I do have a public YouTube channel. It is just, the students need to search Melinda Kremsreiter. My son's comment was he checked for me yesterday after it went public. It was the very first one that came up, but he did say the students would want to make sure they were spelling my name correctly. So you may want to have them just make sure that they're spelling their name correctly. There is a picture of me, so they should be able to tell that they've gotten the correct YouTube channel. In terms of posting videos, how to keep track of them, my plan is to title videos for French 1B, and then when we take a look at the continuity of learning plan, you'll see that it's referenced by lesson. So I'll use an L for lesson and then a number for what lesson number we're in, so lesson 9. And again, you'll see when we take a look at it that it's labeled A or B or C or something else. And so this is probably how I plan to title. Okay, so this would be an example title of a YouTube video, and so that the students can align it with what part of their textbook they're doing. Again, my goal is, once I get making these videos and hopefully they go smoothly, my goal is to try to have most of the week's videos up kind of at the start of the week. So we'll see. I have 3 different classes I'm teaching, plus I have an independent study, and I'm doing this for my 3 different classes, both French 1B, French 2B, and Chemistry 1B. So that's my goal. I'm hoping that I'm able to stick with it. I'm usually pretty good with my time management, but we will see how this goes. So YouTube will be an important way because it's how I'm going to deliver additional enrichment information related to the lessons that the students are doing. Kind of getting to work. So we did have 1 week of the trimester prior to this change of learning technique. So there were some assignments that were assigned week of March 9th. If students did not turn those in, again, they can submit them for the absent work assignment that's in Google Classroom. They can check Skyward and see if it's missing in Skyward. If it's missing in Skyward, then I need them to turn it in absent work. Again, for students who are working on a packet, if they could text me somehow through Remind a picture of the assignment. It doesn't even need to be all the pages of the assignment, just the first page of the assignment. I'm again going to work on the honor code that you and your child are both being honest and have done the assignment. So just the first page of something is fine, and they can text it to me through Remind, and so that I can get that updated and grades updated. In terms of when we start to look at the homework, which will be on our next slide here, the students are always going to do the homework just like is the read example in the textbook. That probably will be how I will end most of my YouTube videos, is with kind of going over what they have to do for the homework. So this is a little bit of the learning schedule. You'll see for French 1B, it's my understanding that materials are supposed to be delivered to you, the families and students, on Monday, April 20th. I'm giving you until Wednesday to kind of get ready and get started. So again, a couple things to notice here. First, we have the date. Okay, and so these are going to go. I was told when I put this together that our last day would be June 4th. So you're going to see work for your student every day of the week until June 4th. The only day off will be Memorial Day. I did not give the student something to do on Memorial Day. Again, they should be pretty short. This column here, okay, is talking about what lesson we're in the book. So this column is relating to the textbook. Okay, so this relates to the text. This is where the student should be looking in their textbook. The next part that helps them find information in the textbook is kind of here. You'll kind of see these. Okay, those correspond, this right here, okay, corresponds to kind of information in blue at the very top of the page in their textbook. Probably more important is this information. Okay, see how this changes from A to B to C? So the student should know that within our textbook, that A, B, and C part, okay, that A, B, and C part relates to the section. So the section of the book is the A, the B, the C, etc. Okay, so that helps the student know what page we're on. And then normally, just so that you kind of know, comparing to what class normally would be, normally I would do like 3 sections in a day. So a section a day, honestly, should only be 10 or 15 minutes worth of my explanation like this. And then so it should be pretty short. Finally, the part here that's important is kind of the homework, okay? And again, here's the homework. And it will be labeled the same way in Google Classroom for the students to turn it in. And right here you see that key, that's a link. So the students could use this continuity of learning plan that I will have uploaded in Google Classroom to find the key for their homework. They also, I will, for each assignment when I make it in Google Classroom, I will also put attach the key for that assignment. I do want the students to correct it. My concern, and I guess my role for you as a parent, is to just please verify that your student is checking the homework after they've done it, as opposed to copying the answers. So I think that should kind of help out. Again, for these lessons here, Okay, for these lessons here, that's where I'm going to be making YouTube videos. Okay, so I'll be doing YouTubes for these lessons. Okay, and again, that kind of goes back to that how they were labeled here. Okay, so again, here's that lesson 9. Right? Here's lesson 9. Okay, and then the A. Okay, again, here's that A right there, kind of buried underneath there. Sorry. Okay. So that's how the students are going to know what YouTube video corresponds to what on the learning schedule. So I'm going to pause this here and we're going to make an attempt here to do some listening activities and see how that works. So here we go.
Le monde personnel et familier. Leçon 9. Le français pratique. Les personnes et les objets.
Vocabulaire. La description des personnes. How to describe someone. Écoutez et répétez. Qui est-ce?
C'est un copain.
Qui est-ce?
C'est une copine.
Comment s'appelle-t-il?
Il s'appelle Marc.
Comment s'appelle-t-elle?
Elle s'appelle Sophie.
Quel âge a-t-il?
Il a 16 ans.
Quel âge a-t-elle?
Elle a 15 ans.
Comment est-il?
Il est petit. Il est blond.
Comment est-elle?
Elle est grande. Elle est brune.
So hopefully that listening activity worked okay. Please, if you have questions about the continuity of learning plan, contact me. I will be happy to respond to those questions. Again, through Remind or through that email right there. And I hope that helps with your understanding of what French 1B will look like for the next 6 weeks. Thank you and have a wonderful day.